Hey everyone, this is Peter Estes of ValleyCAD, and this is another Tech Tip Tuesdays. In today's video, what I'm going to show you is how you can import a picture into SOLIDWORKS. Now, we do that a lot here at ValleyCAD because we love working with startups and entrepreneurs who have, let's say, a napkin sketch of saying, hey, I got this idea, but I need help making a 3D model of it and make manufacturing drawings and get it going. It's part of our slogan saying, hey, we help take napkin sketches and make them into working products, right? And so I wanted to show you guys how you can do that because maybe you work in a company where you got product designers and industrial designers, and those guys know how to draw. They are phenomenal at it. And so many times they'll send you a picture and say, hey, I want something that looks like this, and there's some curvature here and whatnot. It's like, okay, I just see lines. I don't see any dimensions. How big is it supposed to be, right? Well, you can simply import that picture into SOLIDWORKS, and you can then rescale it to a certain size and trace over it. Okay, so how do we go about this? Well, looking at my SOLIDWORKS screen here, you'll see that I got a picture that says the modern chisel. The modern chisel is actually something that I do on the side. It's my little tag for Facebook and Instagram. And what I do on there, I love woodworking. I absolutely love doing it. And you can see that by my office here, like for instance, the desk that has the 3D printer on it and that lean-to shelving unit, and then this table here. These are all items that I designed in SOLIDWORKS and then made myself. And I absolutely love doing it. If you check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll see some of the other wood projects that I've been able to do. And I designed a lot of it in SOLIDWORKS, actually all of it in SOLIDWORKS, and then make it on our tabletop 3D carving CNC machine. And it's been a lot of fun being able to do that. I help out startups with that, and I also help out companies and individuals that say, hey, I got this idea for a sign, or I got an idea for this furniture, or also I do it for prototyping applications. So looking at this, that's what the modern chisel is. So what I want to do is I want to take the modern chisel picture here, and I want to make a SOLIDWORKS part file, which then I would save as a DXF and import into my G-code creator. So that way I can carve this out on some wood, so that way I can make a cool little sign for the modern chisel. Okay, so how do we go about importing a picture into SOLIDWORKS? Well, SOLIDWORKS uses a tool called Sketch Picture. Now, Sketch Picture is only available while you are in a sketch. That's the only time. So where is this located? Well, it's actually located under Tools, Sketch Tools, Sketch Picture. Okay? Don't worry, I'll show you where that is here in a minute. So as I was saying, you have to start off by being in a sketch. Now, before I show you how to import this tool, there's a couple guidelines that I would like to share with you first. One of them is I always recommend starting off with a sketch that is going to give you your reference of how big the item needs to be. Let's say, for instance, like this really cool SOLIDWORKS pen. Okay, this pen is a little over 5 inches long, and I would love to snap a picture of it, import it into SOLIDWORKS, and trace it out and figure out how to work on my lofting or sweep function with it, just to practice some of my tools within SOLIDWORKS. So I would say that this pen is about 5 inches long. You can always use a tape measure or calipers to see the true measurement. And so we'll say 5 inches on this. Okay, so as I was stating, I would come in and create a sketch that would give you your reference of how big the item should be, and then import your picture on that. So let's say, for instance, on this pen, I come on here and I'll do a new sketch on my front plane. Well, this pen is just a long cylindrical item, and it's just vertical in this instance, right? How I'm looking at it. So I'm going to simply draw in a line, because when I measure this, I measure from here to here. So that's just, as the crow flies, is a straight line. So simply coming in here and specifying line and drawing it at a vertical state and say this thing is going to be 5 inches long. From here, I'm just going to get out of the sketch. And now that I got this line on there, I now know how big to scale my picture when I import into SOLIDWORKS. Okay, I do also recommend having your sketch picture be in a separate sketch than what your reference sketch is, and also whatever you're gonna be sketching to trace over your picture, okay? So when we're done with this, we're gonna end up having 3 different sketch commands in our design tree. Okay, so looking at the Modern Chisel logo, I wanna make it to where that's gonna fit on a 4-inch by 7-inch cardstock or a piece of wood, okay? So I'm gonna come back into Sketch 1 and edit this, and I'm gonna get rid of this line. Now I said I wanted it to fit within a certain rectangle, right? So I'm going to utilize the rectangle command. It's going to do the center corner rectangle, and simply click in there and there, smart dimension this to being 4 inches by 7 inches. Remember, you always want to fully define your sketches in SOLIDWORKS. You need to do that. So there we go. I'm happy with that, and we'll simply get out of the sketch. Now before I move on, I'm going to come into my design tree, slow click on Sketch 1 twice, slow click, not double click it, but slow click, and start typing in REF sketch. This is just my call out to say, hey, this sketch is my reference sketch. All right, now that we got that done, I'm going to activate a new sketch on my front plane. All right, new sketch, awesome, we're rocking and rolling. Now what I'm going to do is start off the sketch picture command. Now I said it's under tools, sketch picture. Got it? Yeah, I'm sorry, I said that way too fast. So let's say you're not sure where that is, Peter, you said it too fast too many times, or tech support does that to us all the time, right? What I would recommend to do is come up to your top right corner, and by default it's going to say SOLIDWORKS help. The little circle there with a question mark. Switch that to commands. And from there, what this allows you to do is you can search every single command within SOLIDWORKS. So this one's called Sketch Picture. All right, there's Sketch Picture. I could simply click on this and now activate the command for me, but maybe I want to start remembering where this is located. Well, I could simply click on the eyeball, and SOLIDWORKS is going to take control of my mouse, and it's going to move it to where it's located in the secondary drop-down menu of Sketch Picture, and it'll put a big red arrow pointing at it saying, hey, it's right here. And it's a really nice way to be able to remember where these tools are, okay? But let's say, all right, I learned how to use Sketch Picture and I use it all the time now. I don't want to have to search for it every time or go to Tools, Sketch Picture. I would rather have it up on my search command ribbon up here, and I would love to have it about in this area, so that way I could just simply come up and click on it. Well, with your search command prompt, which is really cool, you can easily come over, click, and drag that command onto your command ribbon. Really, really cool. You could put this on there as many times as you want. You could also put it on other command tabs if you'd like to. Now let's say you duplicated it like I just did, right? You could hold down Alt, click, and drag off. I haven't let go of anything yet. I'm just showing you guys that it's got a little red square with an X in the middle of it. That's saying, hey, if you let go right now, it's going to go away. Okay, not a problem. We'll do that again, because I only need one sketch picture on my command ribbon, right? So I am in a sketch. I know this because of this thing in the top right corner. This is called your confirmation corner. Also across the top, it says Sketch 2 of Part 2. So it says Sketch 2. That means, hey, you're in the sketch right now. And also, your origin is red, okay? Also, if you look in your bottom right corner, I know my face is covering it up right now. The bottom right corner, this is called your status bar. Your status bar tells you what you're doing as well. You also simply move up that picture, and you'll see here my status bar, it says that this is editing sketch number 2, and it's currently under defined. Well, I don't have anything in there yet, so not the end of the world. All right, let's put that back down there. Okay, so coming back onto here, I want to activate Sketch Picture. So by clicking on that, SOLIDWORKS brings up a new Windows Explorer, File Explorer for you. I already went to my Modern Chisel folder location with all my different logos that I've tried making and whatnot. And the one that I ended up liking was this one here. So I'll simply click on that and say Open. So SOLIDWORKS imports your picture. Yes, it did it. Awesome. Now looking at this, I scrolled out so you can see it. It's huge, right? Remember, I drew that reference sketch and I made the square or that rectangle the size that I want my picture to be to fit inside that. So this is why I always make a reference sketch first, because SOLIDWORKS is just going to import the picture depending on its aspect ratio that you already have from the actual picture itself. What is its resolution at, or pixel size, however you want to look at it. Okay, so looking at our properties for sketch picture, we see here that it shows X and Y. What this is saying is, where is this picture located in the bottom left corner in relation to your origin? Well, I want this to be somewhat centered about my rectangle. So I'm going to simply click and drag it over to that general area. Now, if you are a little more detailed on it and you say, well, I know that this needs to be at a negative 15.25 and this needs to be at negative 10 because you know the size of your picture, then perfect. You can type those in like exact and it will be dead on with your origin. You can also adjust your angle of your picture, and it rotates about the bottom left corner of the picture, by the way. In this application, I know that my picture is perfectly horizontal, but if you snapped a picture of something and you weren't perfectly horizontal or vertical to it, you might want to utilize this tool of rotating the picture. So in my application, I'm going to have it at 0. And then you'll see here, it has a width and a height. This is either going to stretch or compress your picture if you have lock aspect ratio turned off. Okay, 95% of the time I keep lock aspect ratio on. I just generally don't stretch or compress my pictures at all. Okay, so with that, you can simply type in the values that you want, or you can simply click on the top right corner and you can resize it that way. The other thing I wanted to show you though was this thing called Enable Scale Tool. It's checkmarked by default, and what is this Enable Scale Tool? Well, what this is, it's actually this blue dotted line. It almost looks like a construction line, and this pink dot and pink arrow. What this allows you to do, like remember my pen here, I can actually rescale the whole picture to fit within a reference sketch. So remember with my pen, I drew that line and it said it was about 5 inches long. Well, I could use my Enable Scale tool here, and I can stretch this to fit over, let's say like for instance, this black line here is my pencil, let's just say, or my pen. And I can relocate this so that it's horizontal and it goes from end to end, and I can say, hey, I want this bar to be exactly 2 inches wide. So my whole picture just got rescaled so that this line is now 2 inches long. So with that reference line that I made for the pen application, well, since I made that line 5 inches, I would take my Enable Scale tool here and I would lock the dot up here on top or on bottom and then drag the arrow to the opposite end, make sure it's vertical, and then I can specify I want this to be 5 inches tall, and it will rescale the whole picture so that your pen is 5 inches tall. Pretty cool. So Enable Scale tool is a great application for this. But in my current scenario, I don't really care about how long this is. Obviously 2 inches is too big because the modern chisel does not fit in my rectangle. So you can also turn it off just like that, and you can just simply resize this as you see fit. Hey, I got to fit pretty close. We'll say that this is 9.4, and I'll resize that. Okay, that looks really good. It's centered on there to the best of my abilities right now. I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to resize it later as I import into my G-code application. So the next property that you can look at is this thing here about transparency. If you had a picture and you had multiple colors in it, and some of the colors was like, I don't want to see this color. Like for instance, my picture is black and white. Maybe I want to say, I don't want to see any of the white on my picture. All I care about is the black aspect of it. So what we can do here is I can actually come in and change the transparency on it. So let's say like full image transparency is really nice. What that will do is it will go through and it will actually make the whole picture more transparent. In this application, this is actually what I'm going to end up using. I want to make it to where my black is actually a little more grayed out, a little fogged out. It makes it so much easier to see the lines that I'm trying to draw to trace over the picture. So it's a great application to do that. But also, I was talking about how you could like pick certain colors and make just that color transparent. That's where the user defined comes in. So when you click on that, your mouse is going to look like it's got a little droplet on it. What you can do from here is simply click on a color in your picture, and then, like for instance, I clicked on the white, so I'll say, oh, whatever is white, you want to make that transparent. Okay, so I'll match tolerance on there, and I'll increase that, and I'll make it so that the transparency on this is going to be at 100%. So at one value. That means that that white is gone. So all that I see left is the black. Pretty cool. So I simply just got out of the sketch tool command and I said, okay, let's get out of the sketch. Okay. What I would recommend do next is come in and rename this, and we'll just call this pick sketch. So it allows me to see, all right, this is my sketch that has the picture on it. Okay. Now what you're going to do is make your third sketch. And your third sketch is what you are actually going to do to trace over your picture. Okay, so I started off on another part here that is the modern chisel. And with that, you'll see that I got my picture here brought in, and you'll see that I already started some of my sketching on it as well. So utilizing this is where I, in this application, remember how you could change the transparency on your picture. If you want to go back and edit the picture in any way, you can just expand out whatever sketch has a picture in it, double click on it, and that gets you into edit picture mode or sketch picture command. So I went into full image and I made it so the transparency was at 0.6. Okay, that made it so that way when I started sketching over it, my lines are blue, and it makes it so much easier to see it on top of my picture. If I left that picture at 0 transparency and all the lines were black, it is extremely hard to see your lines. Okay, so in this I use splines and I also use lines on here. It's gonna take a little while to do, but in the end I'm gonna have a SOLIDWORKS part file that's gonna look like my modern chisel logo. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is an easy way to import a picture into SOLIDWORKS. Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel here. I'm trying to post new videos or new content twice a week. We are also on Twitch. Follow us at ValleyCAD on Twitch. I'm doing live streaming of like this video here, and also if there's some design projects that I'm doing, I live stream those, and you can simply hop on there, ask us questions as we're designing. Also while we're doing like reverse engineering and as we're working through other softwares, feel free to ask us questions as we're doing that. I personally love answering questions, and also if you have questions on or ideas for other Tech Tip Tuesdays or Just a Thought Thursdays, feel free to shoot me an email. It's peter.estes@valleycad.com. Also hop on over to our website. You can contact us through there. It's valleycad.com. Okay, so have a great rest of the day and make sure you learn something new today.